March 26th, Indian Express newspaper. Yogi starts second term as UP CM with 2 deputies and 50 ministers. Okay, Yogi Adityanath took oath on Friday evening in the Lucknow for second straight term as Chief Minister of UP. Okay, next article is related to New Delhi's puts onus on Beijing. Better ties only if you dissent. Jaishankar Friday told Minister Jaishankar told visiting Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister Yang Yi that bilateral relations have been disturbed as a result of Chinese actions since April 2020. Jaishankar said the situation in relationship is not normal, but the presence of a large number of troops there in contravention of the agreement is an abnormality, so restoration of normalcy will obviously require restoration of peace and tranquility. After 2 years of standoff at actual line of control, China is signaling that it is keen to bring ties on tracks by reaching out with foreign minister level visit, but on the ground from India's perspective that is easier than said. Gauging Beijing's keenness to host PM Modi at a BRICS summit in China later this year, New Delhi has raised the stakes. Okay, now this is what the article is all about. Next article that we are moving into is related to the same. First, both sides should view bilateral relations with a long-term vision. Second, they should see each other's development with a win-win mentality. Third, both countries should take part in multilateral process with a cooperative posture. Okay, this is what the article about. Next is education to health. Government list output outcomes. What the article is about. How much budget is allocated to a particular project, how much money you spend from the budget, how much work has completed, services produced as a result of any scheme, for instance, construction of Mohalla clinic and classrooms. This is output, but outcome is the number of people who benefited from the Mohalla clinic or any service delivered, and Delhi is only state to introduce the present report for last 5 years. Okay. The next article is Supreme Court reliefs for person with disabilities allows them to opt for police service. An interim order, Supreme Court on Friday allowed the candidates with physical disabilities who cleared civil service written exam to provisionally apply for the selection to IRPFS and IPS, as well as Delhi, Daman and Diu, Dadar, Nagar Haveli, Andaman Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep, that is DANIP's police service. Okay. That the blanket exemption of person with disabilities from occupying all posts in IPS, DANIPS and IRPFS outlined in the impunged notification is manifestly arbitrary, thus violative of Article 14 of the Constitution of India said in the plea. Okay. UGC warns students against Chinese universities, says online degree is invalid. University Grants Commission on Friday advised students to exercise due diligence before deciding to pursue higher education in China, given that the country has not eased travel restrictions and many Indian students have not attended in-person class since the pandemic struck. The higher education regulators informed the students that it does not recognize degree courses done only in online mode without prior approval. He also recognized the particular concern that the medical students have in this difficult situation. They are worried that the medical degrees may become invalid if the online classes continue to lack of practical experience. Okay. Next article is how the CBI investigates. Okay, how does CBI take up the case? Unlike NIA, CBI does not take suo motu cognizance of the case in the state, whether in part of corruption involving the government, officials of the center and PSU staffs are an incidents of violent crime. In order to take up the corruption cases involving central government staff, it neither needed a general consent of state government or specific consent of case-to-case basis. For all the cases involving corruption in the state governments are incident of crime. State has to request the investigation by the CBI. Center has to agree to the same. In case that state does not make any such a request, CBI can take over a case based on the orders of High Court concerned or Supreme Court concerned. Okay, can CBI decline to take up a case for investigation? After a state makes a request for an inquiry by CBI, Center seeks the opinion of the agency. If the CBI feels that it is not worthwhile for it to expend time, energy on the case, it may decline it to take it up. In the past, CBI has refused to take over the cases, citing lack of enough personnel investigate and saying it is overburdened. CBI is the country's premier investigative agency and it is expected to probe complex and sensitive cases. It cannot probe every case that is willing to hand over to it. According to a former CBI officer, in 9 out of 10 instances, center seeks the opinion of the agency before accepting or refusing a case. In 10% of the case, center directly renders the registering of a case if it shoots the rolling dispensation to do so. According to the latest annual report of Central Vigilance Commission, CBI registered 608 FIRs in 2019 and 589 FIRs in 2020. What is the role of a state concerned in the investigation of CBI? Okay, since 2015, as many as 9 states, Maharashtra, Punjab, Rajasthan, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Mizoram, Meghalaya, have withdrawn general consent to CBI. Opposition ruled state have alleged the CBI has become its master voice and has been unfairly targeting opposition politicians. Withdrawal of general consent means that to probe any case in these states, CBI would have to take prior permission from the state government. CBI has claimed that this had tied its hand. Okay, next article is targeting big tech, what European Union's landmark Digital Act aims to achieve. Okay, Digital Markets Act. European Council said the law aimed to make digital sector fairer and more competitive. Who are the targets of DMA? DMA focuses on companies termed as gatekeepers, which includes Apple, Facebook, Google. Violators can be fined up to 10% of the company's global annual sales for an initial breach of the law. The reason the law refers to these companies as gatekeepers is that they often control distribution, whether it is for apps or ads on the platform or even communication. What are DMA's proposal? Rules states that users will have the right to choose and install their apps. They also crack down on pre-installed apps common in Apple, Google and others. The press statement indicates that users will not forced to use the software by default when installing the OS. Okay, so future iPhones might not come with Safari, even iMessage or Siri preloaded. Okay, European Union wants interoperability between the basic functionalities of messaging services. This could means that user on WhatsApp and one on iMessage should be able to talk to each other. However, interoperability is to be achieved is not clear and will require major technical work from the company. They note that gatekeepers must allow the installation and effective use of third-party software applications. Even while they can take proportionate measures for security. Play Store dominates, and while third-party store exists, they do not have reach and influence of official store. Also, gatekeepers cannot establish unfair conditions for business users or require app developers to use certain services. Okay. The European Union already has one of the most comprehensive user data protection law under General Data Protection Regulation. In South Korea, a law passed which specifically banned Apple and Google from forcing developers to use their own in-app payment system. Okay. Next article is Our Film, Our History. Okay. What is it all about? Let us see that. Several countries like US, UK, France, Italy have accorded cinema the status of art, but government still views it as a medium for information broadcasting, neglecting its cultural historical value. This is evidence that government's recent decision to shut down 4 of its oldest, most reputed film units, the National Film Archive of India, Film Division, Children Film Society of India, Directorate of Film Festival. Okay. Ministry of Information Broadcasting decided to close all the regional and national offices of the FD, NFAI, CFS, DFF and bring them under the National Film Development Corporation, a public sector undertaking established in 1975 to promote the filmmakers outside the mainstream film industry of India. Okay. Next article is Foreign Policy and You. At home and abroad, cogent and effective foreign policy has delivered on development and helped fulfill aspirations, worked to benefit of all Indians. Okay. what the article are about. Good foreign policy must work for you all. Your everyday needs from the world must be better met. Since we are collective as a country, our national security must be assured. As that is done, pursuit of our aspiration must be facilitated. Foreign policy being the link to the outside, it should enable us to draw what we seek. This could be in terms of technology or capital, best practice or even work opportunities. And obviously, we would all like to be strong. We would like to be good, look good, and we would like to feel appreciated. Any policy which ensures all these goals have lot going for it. It not necessarily have to sound nice. It must simply pass a smell test. Okay, this is when you really look to your government for support and extrication, and indeed this is when the entire foreign policy apparatus swings into the action as it did through Operation Ganga. It does by facilitating transport, and this includes trains and buses. When the first wave of COVID hit India in 2020, we scrambled across the world to secure the PPEs, masks, ventilators, and we did in the sellers market as demand far exceeds supply. Let us continue this in the next video. Thank you. If you like the video, please do share, comment, like, and subscribe.